guys, George Groves here from the George Groves Boxing Club. Just watched the boxing. What I thought was going to be the best fight in boxing. This was the best fight that could be made in boxing. And, well, it didn't live up to that, did it really? You know, I thought Beterbiev was going to stop him. I said the lava was coming and Beterbiev will get Bivol. Deck, he said Bivol. And after 3 rounds, I thought, well, maybe. The 4th round, Beterbiev sort of started to crank it up a little bit. The lava felt like it was coming. I gave him the next 3 rounds, but it wasn't quite enough. Bivol, to his credit, swung back in his direction. I had it a draw. I scored it a draw. I had it 114-114. I literally, loads of them rounds were close. Sometimes they were won in the last 30 seconds of clean work. You know, I'm that sort of judge who, if you finish the round strong and there ain't been much in it, I'll give you that round. I don't think either guy fought their best fight. You know, there was large periods where Beterbiev, who I'd backed his feet, I'd thought about the pressure that comes. We talk about the lava, but it comes with the feet. The pressure comes, and that is, that'll drown you. But his feet tonight were terrible. You know, I know Bivol's obviously an exceptional fighter, but he just sort of followed him around the ring too much, and it's got me questioning what. You know, is Beterbiev's feet that good anyway? Or is it just when he hits guys, he can hit them so hard that he has that effect where, you know, he can just sort of follow them to that into range and then let his hands go and have success. Bivol, I think, had the classier work in certain parts, but wasn't able to sustain it. You know, his movements weren't brilliant. You know, he can't punch off a lateral movement. He punches well off of that sort of standing in front of you and having that little drop back and then sliding in, and he can put them shots together where they come round the side, he'll throw a straight and then bring that one round and that one comes up and then he goes head and body, and he does that so well. And for periods in the fight tonight, he had that, but he didn't do it enough because they were eye-catching shots. They would have been winning in the rounds, and the rounds that I gave him was because he was getting that sort of work off. The shots bounce off of Beterbiev. You know, he's got a fantastic chin. Like, they were, you know, maybe Bivol wasn't even trying to hurt him. Maybe he was just trying to land clean. But I think, yeah, if you've got that style, if you've got that hands high, leaning forward on the front foot that Bivol has, you know, that works when you're in with a guy who your league's above. And it works maybe when the guy's a little bit shorter than you because you've got that range to play with. But when you're in there with someone similar size and Beterbiev slightly further back with his head, punches hard, when he let his hands go, you know, that sort of style wasn't ideal, especially with the lateral movement and the sort of the stepping round and moving. But easier said than done, guys. Really is easier said than done. But good fight. I had it a draw. Do I want to see it again? I'm not sure. But then again, who else are they going to box? You know, I don't think there's anyone else screaming out there. We've got some Brits here. We've got Joshua Buatsi, who's on comms tonight. I'd love to see how he would measure against one of these guys. Craig Richards has been out there sparring. Beterbiev, he's back. Maybe he'll want to run at him. And then we've got, you know, other guys in the mix. But yeah, Anthony Yard, you know, can he have a go? But I think I'm not sure what next. I'm not double keen to see it again, to be honest. I had it a draw. How did you see it? The chief support was the heavyweights, and that one I did get wrong. I think I backed Fraser Clarke in our pre-show with Deck, and I said I think Fraser Clarke will come back better. I think his amateur pedigree, the fact that, you know, he's a more experienced fighter. He's got more boxing ability. You know, he's got more tools in the locker in that respect, and he'll be able to make those adjustments. But wow, he didn't stand a chance. Like Fabio Wardley, you know, he's still so white collar, isn't he? You know, he leans to the wrong way and the jab comes out a bit funny, but when he lets that right hand go, if it lands, it's a punishing shot. He is a solid man. You know, I know Fabio, I've spent time with him, you know, I've done records with him. Luckily, I've never been in the ring with him, but he looks like a big, strong man. And big Fraser Clarke's a big guy, but he's just different. He's dense. Like, he's got a George Foreman-esque sort of, an old George Foreman-esque sort of look to him, Fabio. And then that combination that came in at the end was horrific. And, you know, I just hope Fraser's okay, because he goes down badly. He looks like stunned. And there is that crazy dent that's on the inside of his face. Like, what is that? What's happened there? Is he hopefully, I'm not saying hopefully, but if he's broke his jaw, that can make some sense, because it's worrying. It's like, he caved in a part of his head, which must be must be bad. So yeah, congratulations to Fabio Wardley. He put that to bed, didn't he? You know, that rematch that we didn't know could go either way. Draw the first time, conclusive winner this time. My old buddy, Chris Eubank Jr., he's back in the frame, he's back in the picture. He had a win tonight. And to assess it, was it the best? Was it the best win I've ever seen? Was it the best performance? Not really. Zemeta, he started slow, he gets dropped in the first round. You know, you're like, okay, another easy night for Eubank. You go through his record, and he's got those 2 fights against, you know, Golovkin and Munguia, but he obviously gets beat. And then you go through the rest of his couple of wins against, you know, guys with winning records, but no one who stands out. So it was good matchmaking for Eubank Jr. tonight. But I thought he's not the fighter he was. You know, he was definitely not the fighter he was when he faced me. 6 years on now, so it's to be expected. He's had a lot of time out of the ring. You know, he's had one devastating loss against Liam Smith, which he's avenged, but the volume ain't there anymore. The energy's not there anymore. Like the you know, the aura that used to be around Eubank Jr. is not there anymore. And when he punches, his hands and feet don't work together. So whether that's shades of working with Roy Jones Jr. or whatnot, but, you know, he had his way with Zemeta tonight, where, you know, he caught him with a left uppercut, right uppercut, like the muggiest shots you can get caught with. He's prone them back to back, but he still sort of couldn't really put a proper dent in him, because his feet and hands are not in it. His feet are not screwed into the floor when he's punching. And it all looks a little bit late. But looks hard for him, to be honest. Looks really hard for him. But he got the job done. Got rid of the guy. He's been out of the ring for a year, so it's probably a bit of a relief for him. And he knows Conor Benn's sitting there ringside, ready to jump in and have a row with him. So maybe he's got one eye on that. He's had to avoid Conor this week, because you can see that all of a sudden Eubank Jr.'s tight at the weight. He doesn't want to have them rows while he's cutting weight fight week. But he's had to do it. Conor jumps in. Conor's got a new look, and he's got his hair sort of straightened. I don't know how you do that. You know, or has he always had that? It looked different. Maybe the beard's gone. He had a different look. Yeah. But he's up for the fight, and I think that's obviously the fight we're going to get next. It's a good fight, you know, for the... It makes sense. Makes sense for boxing. I can see how they're going to end up with that. So Eubank, you know, he reels off all the other names, but I think he threw Conor McGregor in the mix as well. So maybe he doesn't quite fancy that Conor Benn fight. He'll have the Conor McGregor fight. He'll take on all the Conors, who knows. So Eubank, yeah, I think he had one more fight left in him, Eubank. I don't want to be too harsh on him, but he didn't set the world alight tonight. Maybe he just needed a run out. Opataya, Brit basher, but someone pulled me up on the comments on the YouTube and said he's not a Brit basher because he hasn't fought any Welsh and he's Scottish. He's a pom pummeler. Now, I don't know if pom is an offensive word. I'm not Australian, but I thought that was funny. I was like that. Good one. Pom pummeler. Pom pummeler, Jai Opataya. He's out in action and he's up to his old tricks again. He fights Jack Massey and it was a brilliant display from him. You know, solid. Just looked like man and boy. And that's not no disrespect to Massey, but Opataya, he's strong and he punches with venom and force, and you know it has an effect. And you know, in the end, Joe Gallagher has to throw in the towel, and I thought it was the right decision. You know, some of the guys on the sofa thought it was a bit harsh, and it's his world title shot, and I totally get that. But it was sort of one-way traffic, and I think you saved him maybe for another day. Opataya was just that too big, too good, too fresh for him. That was great win for him. I say, Brit Basham, along he goes. Pom Pummeler. He might end up with the winner of Chris Billam-Smith against Gilberto Ramirez. We're hoping for Chris Billam-Smith to come through that, and then he has his chance to get his hands on one more Brit. And we'll see how that goes, eh? Last one, and I didn't even see it because I got in too late. I was at a gig and I got in, but I've seen the highlights. Ben Whitaker in against Cameron. I've tried to watch the fight. Illegal streamed it. I'm sorry about that, but I have paid for the pay-per-view as well, so hopefully I don't upset anyone in that regard. I just forgot to set it and record it. But from what I've seen, it looks like a good fight, a real 50-50 fight. And then the comments that I've seen online is that people thought Cameron was winning. I've seen the flip over the ropes. You know, in slow motion, it does look like Ben sort of leans back and hoiks him over. I don't know if that was a good idea or not, whether that happens, whether he just gets pushed, whether he's just, you know, unfair to even suggest that. And then I think it's a bad ankle that finishes the fight. But, you know, I want to, if that's what it is, we've got to see that fight again. So, back to the drawing board for that. Shout out to the nostalgia, which was Busta Rhymes, Missy Elliott, Sierra. That was the best bit of entertainment that isn't boxing I've seen on Riyadh season. So they've up-leveled there. Well done guys. I really enjoyed that. Hope you enjoyed it too. And you'll have a full report from me and the Deckmeister, Deck Taylor. Full breakdown pod coming imminently. A day or two. This is right now.